You sit wherever you want, but we got a chair for you here. Just, yeah.
I'm off camera.
We used to be on camera.
You knew her?
I do, but I
You
can't
spoke to her?
contribute anything to this.
Yeah, you can. Come on, Karen.
Come on, Karen.
If I'm over here, you knew better.
You part of the family. Come on.
Listen, you travel.
Much as I am.
Please story.
Booked all
What
your
makes you feel
shade.
better? You're not the only one who didn't want to be on camera.
Karen? Karen. Mom always said Karen.
Karen.
See, that's because she couldn't say serious.
Karen and Cheryl.
All right, well, we've been starting all of these by playing the recording first. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that.
And then I married Ed Smith, James Edward Smith. He got killed in 1944. And so did Prince. And after he got killed, I decided that I would go in the service myself because I thought, well, maybe I can help my country and give me something to do. And I was real young, like 17, 18. And I was just old enough to join the service. And I'd already been married. And back then, girls got married a lot younger than they do now. And so I was at Los Angeles. So I went to Atlanta and joined the service. And I was glad that I did. And they were asking for girls to join to a special medical branch. And that's what I joined in. And they offered me some special training. At first I worked with paraplegic patients in the hospital. And they were, most of them, when they got there, most of them didn't make it. A few of them did to make it to go home, but most of them eventually died. And that kind of got on my nerves, those boys coming and how jolly they would be to be home. And then they would up and die. So I got transferred to the operating room, and that's where I worked from then until I got out. And life has been good, and I'm thankful for it.
Well, and I know you're proud of the service to your country, too.
I sure am, and I'm glad I went, and I encourage others to do the same thing. I talked to a boy yesterday that has just joined up, and I told him, I said, now you can have a good life in it if you want to, and they'll do everything they can for you.
And he'll be a better person when he comes out.
That's what I told him.
And he'll appreciate his country a lot more.
That's right. This young man I was talking to, he was real pleased with what they offered him to go in the service and the pay he'll make. I said, when we went in, we got $50 a month.
I got 11.
You got 11. And when I got through with special training, they paid me $60 a month.
Yes.
But,
They furnished everything, and you
but you did. I didn't need.
I cut it off there because it had like a loud popping noise, so sorry for the awkward cutoff. But before we get into the questions, I had the honor to meet your mom. I just loved her. She was precious. So I knew I really wanted to include her in this, and I'll tell you why I included that picture of her and her brother, because she had donated some pictures to us, and that one in particular, she loved it so much. She called a few months later, or I think I saw her a few months later, and she said, well, can I have it back? So I knew she loved it. So I made a copy of it, of course, and then, gave it back to her. And I just remembered how much she liked that picture, so that's why I used that one of her and her brother, Preston, I think it was. So, and we have drinks too, y'all are thirsty, y'all. Just getting into it, did your mom, talk about the war when you were growing up?
I don't remember Mom talking too much about it. She would tell us about, because she became a beautician. Okay. But she always had that training as a nurse, and so she referred back to it some, but she never got deployed because the war ended before. Now, she was scheduled to go to Southeast Asia, that I remember. Is that what y'all
South
remember?
Pacific. She had orders to South Pacific when the war ended.
And that hospital that she was at, was that in Atlanta? I thought so.
I've wondered if that's not what is now the VA hospital. It was called Lawson General back then. So it was somewhere up there on the north side.
Okay, yeah. I tried looking it up myself, but I can't say I went too deep into it, but yeah, I thought I saw that it was in Baltimore.
We found a postcard. I don't know where we were, but it was of the Lawson General.
Oh, was
We
it?
gave it to her, yes, and she was so proud of it because I'm sure she has some, she shared some of her memories, but it was a part of life that she was important. It was important to her for that time of service. So, but I just kind of remember from seeing that what it looked like. I don't guess it's even there anymore. They don't know.
Unless it's part of what is now the VA hospital. I don't know.
Some of those pictures that she gave us, like I know that smaller one is her and some of the staff there, but I want to say one of the pictures shows a little bit of the hospital, but I don't know if it shows that much that you could identify it, so.
So, I mean, how does it feel having a legacy of having a parent in a world war?
I've always been very, very proud of Mom and Dad, because they were both from there. And we never, of course, we never knew her first husband.
Right.
And it was after he had died in France that she joined up. And then Mom and Dad got married after. Dad had come on, he was in Italy.
Okay.
Well, Mom was still in service when they got married. They got married in September, and she wasn't discharged until November. She told me she had to she took a train or a bus to Charleston to get discharged. And I think they used to meet in Atlanta.
I'm sure.
Yeah, until she got out.
I think y'all might be the only ones who, both parents were veterans of the war.
But she was, we were always proud of her commitment to her country too. And I think a lot of that just flowed over into her life because having lost her husband and then of course found a new wonderful man, but serving her country kind of, in a sense to me, prepared her as well as for life. I mean, there was honor there. She was very honorable, like there was service. She was always serving for somebody, always doing something for someone else. And all those things that were part of being in the service, being patriotic, no matter what, she was gonna go vote. I mean, we would take her when she was in her wheelchair, well, later on in a wheelchair, or in her little walker, she was going to vote. Whenever the national anthem, I don't care if she wasn't walking, she would stand for that. All of that, I don't know, the proudness. But I think a lot of that kind of, that's just the way I looked at her as my mother-in-law, wonderful lady, just kind of trickled over, I think, into her life as well. But I was proud of her.
Oh, I think we all were, I've always been proud of them, and I'm sure that's probably one of the reasons I became a nurse, too.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't realize you were a nurse,
Yeah.
so wow.
So I think
My granddaughter did too.
Yeah, that's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I was just thinking when she was talking about meeting the young man, that I just got into the service, so her great-grandson is in the service. I can't do this. I knew I wasn't going to be able to. I'm surprised I got through the day.
I think y'all are doing great.
But anyway,
I just appreciate it.
she would be so proud of Gracie.
Oh, she would be.
Well, so I know you mentioned she became a beautician. What was it like for them after the war? What was their life like once they came back?
Thompson Mills.
Yep.
Oh, did she work in the war? Or?
Dad did,
Briefly.
yeah, Mom did too, just
Oh,
started. And then her
yeah.
beauty shop was just an old mill that's torn down now, but it was half a block down from the mill.
Really?
The Vanity Beauty
Okay.
Shop.
Well, she worked there, she really didn't own it at that time. But she used to, work at different, beauty shops around town, after she quit working in the mail. She worked in the mail for a short time just so we could get a three-room house.
Uh-huh.
Because we lived in a two-room house when I was born. And then, she worked in the mail for a short time, after Tommy was born, so we could get the three-room house. And then she quit. And she tried, doing hair at home for a little bit, but legally she couldn't do that.
Okay.
So, then she would start working she worked at one down at 5 Points. She worked with Miss Gray. She worked with, different places, working, she and Dad worked the 4 to 12 shift, so that there'd always be somebody at home with us kids.
That's great.
She eventually had her own
Right,
to
she
do shop.
finally
Yeah, that's
bought
right.
that shop down on Barnesville Street, and then after I
She
left
bought the
home.
business, she bought the business, but she was
Bought the
renting.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was ready. And then, after I left home,
Yeah.
they built the shop out next to the house.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that one, but I drive on Barnesville Street every day. My little girl goes to daycare on Knight's Trail, so I wonder where it was.
They just tore that building
Yeah,
down
you know
since
where
Mom
the
died.
parking lot was across from the mill on the north side of Barnesville Street?
Mm-hmm.
Believe that was across the street.
There used to be a pool room next door to the building that,
Okay,
in the building she was in, there was a pool room.
okay.
Wesley Brown was right next to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
he was in the
Wesley
he
had
was in the
his shop on
building,
Barnesville Street for
he was
so
in the
long.
building
Okay.
next door.
It was next door, it was a
There
little
there was
parking
a
lot in
pool
between.
room next door to her shoot shop. Remember that?
On the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. I think then it became a pawn shop, didn't it?
I don't remember that. I remember there was a pool room.
I think now.
No, she
I
was
think
glad
there's
to
a little
move,
filling
finally
station
fix
there,
something,
and now
because
she was right
There,
across
they
the
didn't have
street.
indoor bathroom. Outside bathroom, all the ladies had to go out, climb up that bank. They kept a little curtain back there with a bucket. Well, I mean, that's the kind of thing, that's the way it was, you know?
Well, most
did
people
what they
didn't
had to
go
do.
back there unless they were getting their ears pierced. Mama, I bet your mama pierced most of the ears in Thomaston back there.
Really?
Yeah. Curtain.
That was her nursing training.
I was about to say, she was a nurse.
She's used to working with needles.
Yeah.
That's right. She
Right.
had a good stock of them too. When she died and we were cleaning out her medicine cabinet, we can vouch for that, can't we? Hypodermics. I think those were, because she used to, when her mom was dying of cancer, she would give her morphine shots and things like that.
Mom, she had a sign in her beauty shop. She didn't just fix hair. She was a sociologist, she was a psychologist. She did.
She was there to get all your problems.
Really.
She knew everybody in town, let me tell y'all. I didn't know that until after I retired.
Right.
That she would talk about all that stuff, who she knew and all that, and I said, you those people? But she never talked much, she listened, she was a listener.
I'd say she was very well known. Anyone I'd ever asked about her just loved her. I can see why, because I got to meet her.
Well, and so many of the girls worked for her. I see people and I say, oh yeah, I remember. She said, oh yeah, I worked for your mama.
Amazing. Well, tell me, I don't know if y'all have all heard these audios many times before, but was there anything in this audio in the recording that surprised y'all?
Who was interviewing her?
Ooh, it may have been Joy Adams. Hers. Oh no, that was Albert Edmondson. I'm sorry.
I heard
Sorry.
it in that
Joy did a few others, but no, that was Albert Edmondson at the end where he said, "Oh, I got 11 a month." Yeah, that. Yeah.
I was wondering if that was World War I.
But he's actually another one of these recordings.
We met with his family.
We spoke
first
to Miss
this morning.
Gloria earlier, but he was a truck driver, so I don't know if that was. I don't know. I have no
That's
idea.
interesting.
It is
That's
interesting.
Chrissy's dad. Christy and Lisa, is that their name? Lisa, they're not.
Gloria Salter,
Okay.
that was,
Right.
yeah. And,
I don't know if anything was too surprising. I mean, it just sounded like she was sitting here chatting with us. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
I
really
think she
did.
sounded so good.
She did.
She
Yeah.
did, and a lot of energy.
yeah.
On this, you know,
She
which
did
is
have
the way she always was. So
Mhm.
she died.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I
She
just,
was
Her
very
eyes were
sharp.
very clear.
I think what blew my mind, just treating the quadriplegics, that just,
Yeah, she told us that.
you have to have some serious metal to do that.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
know, that's just.
Yeah, she really did.
Mhm.
Well, tell me, what would y'all like, or what do you think she would like future generations to know about the war and the importance of it?
No, she would not want people to forget.
Mhm.
You know, and sometimes you think that they're forgetting what it was like. I asked Mama one time how she heard about Pearl Harbor, because she would have been only about, what, 16, 15, 16, something like that. And she said they were living on the farm then, and she went to the mailbox and got the newspaper, and they didn't know anything about it because they read the newspaper, but that was just far, far away.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it must have really gotten intense for her when the guys started having to go into the military. Because I think she may have been married by then. And so when he started having to leave with fear of it, just like with the Vietnam thing, hanging over your head, then everybody probably just got so involved in it, it was your whole world in. So I'm sure she would want people to remember what it was like for a whole world to be able to appreciate what we got.
Right.
That's what I was kind of looking at. I think one thing about Grandmama is that to her it was important that people realize how blessed we are. We are blessed to live in this country. We are blessed that we've had people that cared enough to sacrifice. I mean, really and truly, the things that we hold dear are the things that we she represented. All the things that were important to her, she's passed on to us. And, you know, just realize how blessed we are, how we need to stand up for what we believe in. And, you know, I'm trying to find the word that I'm looking for, searching out there. Anybody can jump in and tell me, but
She could probably tell you.
Oh, yeah, she would be able to. She'd say, now let me get my computer, it'll get away into the right slot in a few minutes, and then she would come up with it. But that was so important to her, and we are blessed. I mean, our country, but we do, and she would say, you've got to stand up for those principles and those things that you know that are important in life. And it's just so funny. I just had a vision of her reading the Bible one night, and we were talking about it, and she said, yeah, says, you know, when you read the Bible, it's different every time you read it, because it's according to how you need it, as to what it's going to say. And that's true. That's true about life. And I don't know. She was just
a very strong faith.
I think she taught us too that there's certain things we're supposed to do. And I think that's the way, that the hardships that they had to go through, the sacrifices they had to make, they were supposed to do it. So they did it. And,
willingly.
yeah, and
That's what's so amazing about her. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, women didn't need to enlist, and she did, because she wanted to help her, she wanted to help the country. It's just amazing.
She's a very strong woman.
You can tell.
She was particularly with me. I don't know about with any of you others, but she was very impatient with me. When she wanted something done, she wanted it done right then. You know, and that was kind of. And Daddy was a little bit more like me.
here we get to it.
That's right. So So I think those two were kind of, they worked.
Yeah.
They worked, it worked.
Yeah.
What was your father's name?
Jerome Farr.
Jerome.
Wilbur Jerome.
And
He worked for Upson Laundry, he was the laundry man. How many years? He worked in the mill for, I think, 18 or 20 years. Then he got that job, and so if you lived in town, he went by and picked clothes up.
Okay.
That was when the laundry used to go pick up. That was his job, to be a route.
That's really cool. Is there anything that we're forgetting to ask, or other things that y'all wanted to share?
You know, Mama lived a lifetime before she and my dad ever got married. When you think about that, because, you know, she'd been raised on the farm and they had to work hard. Plus when she did get married, you know, she had a child that was stillborn. And it was after that, I think, that Ed, her husband, was killed, or had to go and was killed. And then I guess maybe that kind of worked into her wanting to do something like that. What am I going to do? You know, that she, you know, decided to join the service, which was, you know, she said that people told her not to do it because, you know, women didn't really do stuff like that back then, but
How wonderful that she did.
she did anyway. She was, you couldn't tell her not to do anything.
I can see that.
If she wanted to do it, she was going to do it.
I imagine her mom and daddy didn't have much to say in it, did they?
I had another
I would
question.
say that Mom and Dad both were heroes to us,
Yes.
because they really stood for rightness. They lived it, but not, I mean, they wasn't boisterous or loud about it. It's just the way they did it. It's the way they did it. They were both still gracious. They stood for what's right, but they were gracious to tell you about it. They wouldn't beat you over the head. And she was like that. I guess that's part of being a beautician too. So she got a captive audience, and all the problems that people brought in there all the time.
But they were always helping someone
She-
else in a quiet way. I mean, we find even today, I'm sure, we could find out things that they both did to help people out. And it wasn't like, you know, I'm gonna do it for, you know, my aunt. It was quiet, and it was done because somebody needed help. And I mean, it was all, you know, all kind of people have since, both of their passings have said, you won't ever remember. I don't remember what your mama did, or your mother-in-law at that time. And Miss Jewel, Mama Jewel's what my friends always call her. And of course, Granddaddy did too. And it was that serving attitude. It was that, again, doing what's right because it's the thing to do. You know? Good values, good solid values.
I got another question.
Well, it was just for my own curiosity. I thought, I think I remember from speaking with her, was she from Upson County or was she from Manchester?
Meriwether County.
Okay, that's what
They lived in Wilcox County, son.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They
Meriwether
went
County a lot.
They went where the farming was.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask, you know, what brought her to Upson?
What got her to Upson County was, I think that they came for the crops when they were out at Crest, but eventually Granddaddy was able to take advantage of the program that FDR had that allowed him to get a farm. So he was given, he had a 140-acre farm out on
Rest Haven.
Rest Haven.
Okay.
So Mother, being the oldest, was pretty much already out of the house by then. But they raised their other children there.
Okay.
There were 7 kids.
Yeah.
7 kids in her family.
Wow.
Ken is the baby. Do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess they were tired of talking about it. They never talked to me about it.
They really didn't talk about it.
They didn't talk much about it at all.
not about the war either.
I mean, you had to ask them a specific question, yes or no. I mean, it's basically that was how they answered it.
Mhm.
One time, we took mom and dad to Italy so he could go back where he was during the war. And he told me more about it when we were over there than he ever did growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was he and where did he fight in Italy?
Well, I'm not sure all the places, but he spent a lot of time near Florence.
Okay.
It was after the initial push, and he was in the
Yeah.
artillery unit.
Mhm.
It was down in northern.
What was he, the radio, what y'all call
He
it?
was
Radio
telephone
My grandfather was in Italy. He was in Anzio. That's just like.
Yeah, I think he
That's
was
where
too.
Daddy was.
Wow.
He was in
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't think Dad went in the beachhead, it was after it had already been established, and then his unit went in.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I understood. But again, Dad didn't never give us a whole lot of
He never told- he
specifics.
never
You know,
talked
like
about
Dad
it.
told me one time, he said,
Mhm.
all these people come back and talk about the war, they wouldn't really do that. I
Oh,
mean,
did
really,
he?
basically
Yes,
because
I
it's just, it didn't talk about a whole lot.
That's the common thing that we
Is that right?
discovered, is that they didn't really talk about it. Yeah, but if they did, they were so modest about it, you
And I
know?
remember him saying that the Italian people were very nice to him.
Yeah.
I remember him saying that.
So that's really nice, you got to go back to
Yeah.
Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he enjoyed it.
He also had told me that he had, I think they had landed in Africa. So
Okay.
they came across Africa,
Mhm.
across the Mediterranean into Italy.
Okay. Some common parallels, my grandfather did that as well.
So I think that's probably the,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, probably so.
the true movements.
Mhm. So, well, that's so cool.
I mean, we've gotten some wonderful things, unless there's anything else popping up that y'all wanted to mention.
Well, we'll say, and Karen probably would agree with this, that we were, although we were the daughters-in-laws, we never felt that we were an in-law by that. And, well, and Pete too, yes,
Well, I
I
know
mean, it
that.
wasn't.
You're
I
not a
mean,
daughter-in-law.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, I know that they were very proud of you serving in Vietnam.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
They were very supportive to me while you were in Vietnam, because they had been through all that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Pete doesn't talk about it much either. We knew we were talking
He
about.
talks about it more now than he used to.
Yeah.
He never used to, you know, now that he's retired and meeting all these other old retired guys. It's been nice to be able to talk about my mom.
It has been, and I think this is wonderful that y'all are doing.
Thank you.
This, you know, the exhibit and, the importance of it, lest we forget.
I think she had a huge interest in history. She was always talking to me about her family history, you know, like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, write it down, Mom. I can't remember that. And I try to write it down, and she's written in the Bibles. She's written in the, you know, who belongs to who and who did what and everything.
Then you
Big
gotta,
family.
gotta
Figure it
see, twist it around town, look and see if you
I
can.
know.
Your mom loved the art, the historical society.
Yeah.
Monday nights, we would have to bring mom up here. She didn't, I remember using that little chair lift.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my goodness.
Was it working for you then?
It
Not
did,
well.
it did some though, I mean, but it didn't matter, she was gonna come.
Yeah.
I wish you could have heard Wesley Brown when he talked the other night.
She would have loved that. He did mention the fact that they had the barber shop and the beauty shop next to each other. It was kind of interesting. Both of them have legacies.
That's true.
Hairdressing. I don't know, what do you call it with a man? I've always said barber shop. Do they call it salon now? Like
I think it's still a barber shop.
Still a barber shop.
Yeah, barbershop.
I just put one in the Walmart up in Peachtree, and
Is
it
that
was in
the
place of a hairdresser, and they put in barber shop.
Okay.
Well, Wes has always told me there's something special about being a barber. you know, you gotta know just how to cut it.
Well, in the old days, you had to know where to cut to bleed them, and that's why the barber pole is red and white, because the red
That's right.
represents blood
She
from
told
where
us
they
all
would,
that.
you know,
Right.
they would bleed them to get rid of the bad stuff.
Yeah,
Barbers did more than just cut hair.
right.
Didn't
They
matter.
were more or less surgeons.
I think I've just heard that from Wes.
So what's
Yeah.
next with what we're doing today? I mean, what's next? I mean,
Well, we're gonna,
How long will this exhibit be?
this exhibit, I can talk more about it later.
oh, okay, that's
It's,
okay. Well, if it's something,
but
I don't discuss anything you're not supposed to discuss, but.
It's going to be semi-permanent to permanent. I don't have any plans of changing out, anything in here, anytime soon. So this is gonna be here for a fairly long time.
And in terms of this side of it, I don't know if it'll be in next week's paper, maybe the week after, but I'm gonna do a piece about each of the people that we're featuring and, some of the quotes that y'all have shared. And, so we'll have a
You make it